My mother-in-law secretly redecorated my house while I was at work, and my husband thinks I'm overreacting. I'm a 42-year-old woman, and I've been married to my husband, Greg, who is 44, for 4 years. For the first 3 years of our marriage, we lived 3 states away from his family, and things were great. But 6 months ago, Greg landed a massive promotion that required us to relocate back to his hometown, just 20 minutes away from his parents. We bought a beautiful house, and I was actually excited to finally put down roots. I should have known it was a mistake the day we unpacked. His mother, Brenda, and his sister, Chloe, showed up with 2 casseroles and a million opinions. Brenda literally walked around tapping my walls, telling me which paint colors were too aggressive for a healthy marriage. I brushed it off at the time, figuring they were just overexcited. Yesterday, I came home early from work because I had a massive migraine. I walked through the front door and stopped dead in my tracks. My living room was completely different. The couch had been pushed against the opposite wall. Our heavy oak coffee table was gone, replaced by some flimsy glass thing I'd never seen before. All my throw pillows had been swapped out for these hideous floral cushions. I panicked, momentarily thinking we'd been robbed by the weirdest burglars on earth. Then, I heard humming coming from the kitchen. I walked in to find Brenda wiping down my pristine countertops with a bleach wipe. "Brenda?" I said, my voice shaking. "What the hell are you doing in my house?" She didn't even flinch. She just offered me a tight, little smile. "Oh, honey, you're home early. I wanted to surprise you. Greg mentioned you've been so stressed with work, so I figured I'd come spruce the place up. Doesn't the living room feel so much more open?" "How did you get in?" "Greg gave me a spare key last week," she said, tossing the wipe in the trash. "For emergencies." I saw red. I didn't even yell at her, I just told her to get out. She put on a massive performance, tearing up and claiming she was just trying to be a good mother-in-law to a clearly overwhelmed woman. As soon as her car pulled out of the driveway, I called Greg. "Did you give your mother a key?" I demanded the second he answered. "Hey to you too," he sighed. "Yeah, I gave her one on Tuesday. She said she wanted to drop off some mail that went to her house." "Greg, she completely rearranged our living room. She threw out our coffee table." "She didn't throw it out, she put it in the garage," he said, sounding annoyed. "Come on, she just wanted to do something nice. You've been complaining about the house feeling cluttered. Why do you always have to assume the worst with her?" I couldn't even form words. I hung up on him. When he got home, we had a screaming match. He told me I was being ungrateful and acting crazy. I slept in the guest room. I am so pissed off I can barely see straight, and he's acting like I'm the one destroying our marriage over some throw pillows. Am I losing my fucking mind? Update 1. I wish it was just the living room. Oh my god, I wish it was just the living room. After I posted yesterday, I went up to the master bedroom to grab some clothes for work. I opened my top dresser drawer, the one where I keep my underwear and bras. It was color coordinated. I do not color coordinate my underwear. I felt sick to my stomach. I started pulling open every drawer. My nightstand. My bathroom vanity. Everything had been touched. She had gone through my tampons, my medications, and my makeup. Worst of all, I keep a personal item, a vibrator, in a small velvet bag in the back of my bottom nightstand drawer. That velvet bag was sitting neatly on top of my stack of winter sweaters in the closet. She found it. And she intentionally moved it to let me know she found it. When Greg got home from work today, I didn't yell. I practically dragged him upstairs by his shirt collar and pointed at the closet. "Your mother went through my underwear, Greg. She went through my nightstand." He actually flushed red, but then he scrubbed his face with his hands and let out a heavy, exhausted sigh. "She said she was putting away the laundry you left in the basket. She's just a neat freak. You know how she is." She moved my vibrator, Greg, into the closet. That is sick. She is marking her territory in our fucking bedroom. "Keep your voice down, the windows are open," he hissed. "Look, I'll talk to her, okay? I'll tell her the bedroom is off limits. But you need to calm down. You're acting unhinged. She's my mother, she's not some pervert. I want the key back. Now." "No," he said, crossing his arms. "I'm not doing that. I'm not treating my mother like a criminal because she cleaned our house." I don't even remember exactly what I screamed at him after that. I threw a hairbrush at the wall. He called me hysterical and left to go to the gym. I am shaking as I type this. I feel completely violated in my own home. Update 2. I changed the locks. Greg wouldn't take his mom's key away, so I called a locksmith yesterday morning while he was at work. It cost me $250 to get the front, back, and garage doors rekeyed, and it was the best money I have ever spent in my entire goddamn life. I didn't tell Greg. I wanted to see how long it would take for Brenda to try to sneak back in. The answer was less than 24 hours. Today at 1 p.m., I was on a Zoom call for work when my phone buzzed with a Ring camera notification. I opened the app. There was Brenda, standing on my front porch with her daughter, Chloe. Brenda was trying to jam her key into the deadbolt. When it wouldn't turn, she started jiggling the handle violently. Through the camera's audio, I heard Chloe ask, "Is it the wrong key?" Brenda snarled, "That little bitch changed the locks." I didn't say a word through the camera speaker. I just let them stand there looking like idiots until they finally huffed and stomped back to Chloe's SUV. 10 minutes later, my phone started ringing. It was Greg. He was absolutely furious. "Did you change the fucking locks?" he yelled. "Yep. My mother is crying in her car. She just wanted to drop off some groceries for us, and you locked her out in the rain. It was barely drizzling, for the record. She called me a little bitch on our front porch, Greg. I have it on video." He paused, but barely long enough to process it. "Because you provoked her. You are completely alienating my family. Give me the code to the new electronic deadbolt right now." "No," I said. "You can have a key when you get home. But your mother is never getting a copy." He hung up on me. Within 5 minutes, I got a text from Chloe, "You are a controlling, manipulative psycho. You're isolating my brother. He deserves so much better than a barren, miserable shrew." I forwarded the text to Greg. He didn't reply. He didn't come home last night, either. I slept with the house alarm set to stay and a baseball bat next to my bed. I thought my in-laws were just overbearing, but this is actual hatred. And my husband is punishing me for it. Update 3. I am sick. I am physically sick. I threw up in the kitchen sink 20 minutes ago. Greg finally came home this morning to shower and get fresh clothes. He was acting completely cold, giving me the silent treatment. He left his iPad on the kitchen island while he went upstairs to shower. I have never snooped on a partner in my life. I always thought people who checked phones were toxic. But I was standing there looking at the screen when a notification popped up. "Chloe, did she let you back in the house?" My hand moved before my brain could stop it. I know the passcode to his iPad. It's been our anniversary since we got married. I unlocked it and opened the Messages app. There is a group chat. It's called The Real Smiths. It's just Greg, Brenda, and Chloe. I scrolled up. I scrolled back through months of messages, going all the way back to when we first moved here. It wasn't just them complaining about me. It was a coordinated campaign. The day Brenda rearranged the living room? Greg knew she was doing it. "Brenda, going over there now. I brought the glass table from the basement." "Greg, thanks Mom. She's gonna pitch a fit but I'll handle her. That oak table is hideous anyway." When she went through my bedroom. "Brenda, her drawers are a disaster. Also found some disgusting toys. You really need to get her into therapy, Greg." "Greg, I know. She's just so volatile right now. Just don't let her know you saw it." "Chloe, she's trash. I told you 4 years ago." But the worst part, the part that made me literally vomit, was a conversation from last night, while he was ignoring my texts. "Brenda, this is what we talked about, Greg. She's isolating you. She changed the locks so you couldn't have your own family over. She is emotionally abusing you." "Greg, I know. I'm done playing nice. I'll make sure she backs off. We're going to proceed with the plan this weekend. Don't worry, Mom." "Chloe, finally. You need to put her in her place. It's your house too." "The plan." "What fucking plan?" I took screenshots of everything and airdropped them to my phone. When Greg came downstairs, freshly shaved and wearing his suit, he grabbed his iPad without even looking at me. "I'm going to work," he said coldly. "We are going to have a serious talk when I get home. You need to apologize to my mother." I just stared at him. This was the man I've loved for 4 years. The man who held me when my dad died. He looked like a complete stranger. "Okay, Greg," I said. "We'll talk." He left. I immediately called out of work. I have spent the last 6 hours packing my most important documents, my jewelry, and some clothes into a suitcase and hiding it in the trunk of my car. I don't know what the plan is, but I know I'm not sticking around to find out. Update 4. I don't even know what to do. I am sitting on the floor of my home office with the door locked, typing this on my phone. My hands are shaking so badly I keep making typos. Last night, when Greg got home, I didn't wait for him to start his lecture. I confronted him. I told him I saw the iPad. I told him I saw the Real Smiths group chat. I expected him to be embarrassed. I expected him to apologize, or at least try to gaslight me about what the messages meant. Instead, his eyes went totally dead. He didn't yell. He just said, "You invaded my privacy. You are exactly as paranoid and unhinged as my mother said." He packed a duffel bag and told me he was staying at Brenda's until I got psychiatric help. He walked out, and I locked the deadbolt behind him. I spent the whole night crying, drinking cheap wine, and trying to figure out if I should just drive back to my home state. I fell asleep on the couch around 4 a.m. I woke up 20 minutes ago to the sound of a heavy diesel engine rumbling outside. It's 7:15 a.m. I peeked through the living room blinds. There is a massive U-Haul truck parked in my driveway. Brenda and Chloe are standing on my front lawn, holding coffee cups and pointing at my house. Greg is at the back of the truck, rolling up the metal door. The truck is completely full of boxes and furniture. My phone buzzed in my hand. It was a text from Greg. Mom's house has a severe black mold infestation. It's unsafe for her to be there. She and Chloe are moving into the guest rooms until it's mitigated. Unlock the front door. We are not doing this today. They aren't visiting. They are moving in. I haven't moved from the window. Greg just walked up to the front door and tried his key. When it obviously didn't work because of the new locks, he started pounding on the wood. Open the goddamn door. He is yelling. I can hear him through the glass. It's my house. Open the door. Brenda is standing right behind him, looking up at the second-story windows with that same tight, smug little smile she had when she was wiping my counters. The pounding is getting louder. He's kicking the door now. I haven't answered him. I don't know if I should call the police. His name is on the mortgage too, so they might not be able to stop him from coming inside. The wood frame around the deadbolt is starting to splinter. Update 5. It's been 4 days. I am safe. I am staying at a long-term suite hotel 2 towns over. Right after I typed my last update, the door frame completely gave way. The deadbolt ripped right through the wood just as the 911 dispatcher finally answered my call. Greg burst into the hallway, his face totally red and dripping with sweat. He looked psychotic. Are you fucking kidding me? He screamed, stepping over the shattered wood. You locked me out of my own house? Brenda pushed right past him. She was holding a cardboard box of kitchen supplies. She didn't even look at the destroyed door. She just looked at me clutching my phone and sighed. Greg, honestly, she's completely unhinged. I told you we needed to intervene. Then the police pulled into the driveway. The sirens must have scared the shit out of them, because the second 2 officers walked through the busted front door. Greg dropped the aggressive act. He immediately tried to play the calm, rational husband dealing with a hysterical wife. Brenda literally squeezed out pathetic fake tears, telling the cops I was having a mental breakdown and refusing to let an elderly woman with mold poisoning seek shelter in her son's home. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I just pointed at the splintered door frame. He kicked it down. I told the older officer, my voice dead flat. I'm leaving. My suitcase is already packed in my trunk in the garage. I just want an escort out so they don't touch me. Greg looked at me like I had slapped him. His mask completely slipped. You were leaving? Fine. Leave. Go be crazy somewhere else. The cops stood in the hallway while I opened the garage and got into my car. As I backed down the driveway, I looked at the front porch. Chloe was already hauling a huge stack of her clothes out of the U-Haul and carrying them through the front door. I drove straight to the hotel. On Tuesday morning, I had a consultation with a very vicious, very expensive divorce attorney. I showed her the screenshots of the Real Smiths group chat. I told her about the U-Haul and the sudden, severe black mold infestation. My lawyer listened quietly, took a few notes, and then opened her laptop to pull public property records for Brenda's address. It took her less than 5 minutes. There was no black mold. Brenda's house wasn't condemned. Brenda sold her house. She closed on it 3 weeks ago. The real estate listing went up literally days after Greg and I closed on our new place. I sat in my lawyer's office and just sobbed until I dry heaved into her trash can. The plan wasn't just to put me in my place. The plan was a complete hostile takeover. They used my down payment, my credit score, and my salary to buy a beautiful 5-bedroom house so his completely enmeshed, fucked up family could live together. Greg knew about it the entire time. They intentionally tried to make me think I was losing my fucking mind so I would submit to being their live-in maid, or leave so they could have the house to themselves. They thought I would just run away and let them have it. I am forcing a partition sale. Because my name is on the deed and the mortgage, Greg cannot legally keep the house without buying me out. I know for an absolute fact he doesn't have the cash for that, especially not with his mother and sister draining his wallet. My lawyer sent the formal letter of representation yesterday morning. An hour ago, my phone started blowing up. Greg, what the fuck is this? A lawyer? Greg, you are destroying our marriage over a temporary living situation. Greg, answer me. Mom is hyperventilating. If you force a sale, we have nowhere to go. I didn't reply. Then a text came through from Chloe. Chloe, you vindictive bitch. You're going to make your own husband homeless? You are actual evil. I blocked their numbers. I blocked them on everything. I'm sitting on the edge of the hotel bed right now, drinking stale lobby coffee, and for the first time in 6 months, my hands have finally stopped shaking. I don't know how long this legal fight is going to take. I know it's going to be nasty, and I know they are going to drag my name through the mud to anyone who will listen. But I don't care. Let them sit in my living room on those hideous floral cushions while they wait for the for sale sign to go up in the front yard. For the first time since we moved back to his goddamn hometown, I'm the one holding the keys. Hi there, if you made it so far. Consider dropping a like and maybe subscribing. Thanks. And have a nice one.